Oh, good afternoon. My name is Sandy Kaiser, and I am the Executive Director for the Amherst Historical Society. We are pleased to be here in the village today, the Sandstone Village, with our newest museum, a military museum honoring our servicemen and women and the sacrifices that they've made for our country. So we have a fantastic board, a fantastic following, and many, many volunteers who we truly appreciate, or this type of museum, this type of monument could not happen.
I'm Elizabeth Fott. I'm the Public Relations Manager for the Amherst Historical Society, and we are so excited to be part of this Amherst community and also with the Historical Society. History is so important to our family, and we're really excited my husband was in the service for 26 years, so adding this military museum is very meaningful, to us and also to so many, which, as you have seen, there's a lot of wonderful donations telling the story of some pretty amazing people. It's just the start.
We owe this brainstorm to the reenactors who came in last year, who did our Taste of History. And they said, you guys have a gem there. That's the POW from Barracks from World War II, and you're using it as a garage sale building. So we said, aha. Checking into the history of it and doing some research there, then we found out that it truly was here in Amherst, and the POWs would be housed here to go back and forth to work at the quarry or uptown or at the farmers, wherever their skills could take them.
That was just such an important part of history, and it's a very little known part of history about how during the war, during World War II, German POWs were housed here in the Amherst area, and they worked in the quarries and on the local farms, and they got paid for their work because our country followed Geneva Conventions. They were treated very fairly. None of them ever tried to escape. And they, a lot of them had really wrote back. I guess the mayor, someone from the city had said that that they had received letters even from POWs who had said how great they were treated here in this area. So it's really wonderful. Again, thanks to Taste of History and the reenactors who came out here and helped us to through pictures and bring this the POW portion side to what the barracks would have looked like, and then to add on to this back portion, tell the story of all of these amazing people. And it really was a massive team effort. So many of these items were donated. Some of them were in the Quigley. So the Quigley used to have a military museum room, and so now that has been moved over here. But most of these items have been donated just in the past few months from people who have, heard that we were putting this together. We have a really amazing around here. We have a little memorial area for two gentlemen who lost their lives serving our country and telling the story about the poppies and in Flanders fields, which is just so important, and is there. All those things are very easily forgotten. There's also Civil War letters that were donated to us a few months back, and those are on the wall, and it was from a gentleman he was from Amherst. He's buried over at Cleveland Avenue Cemetery, and his letters and his name is remembered now. You have about Anton Steiwald, who was a famous Amherst resident. You have stories about people who served on the home front. You have, Army handkerchiefs and Blue Star flags, which were so prevalent, especially during times of war. The Victory Garden, jewelry that would be worn for patriotism is called Sweetheart jewelry. But then really amazing is over here we have a gentleman who survived the Holocaust. And one of our amazing volunteers brought in a replica star to be able to, help people just remember that aspect of World War II and to keep his memory and so many other people's memories alive. So there's a gentleman who was a POW over in Japan, and to be able to read about what he endured and his bravery, and he still was watching out for his men, even though he was enduring horrible conditions. So the exciting part is that we are going to have this be very interactive. So this is just the start. So we do have QR codes so people can tell the story, but we've also put up televisions. And so that is a great opportunity even for students to help us be able to gather stories and pictures and pull together so we can visually tell some of these stories as well. So this is just the start.
This is just the start, and the community has rallied with us. Memorabilia from basements and attics has been dropped off, donated, and oohed and awed over, photographed and placed on display here. And I think that we have so much that's been donated. We'll have a rotating display.
Yeah.
So when you've been through once, you haven't seen it all. Just come back again, because we will continue to refresh, rotate, and honor those brave soldiers that, sacrificed everything for us.
Like most of our museums here, people can call and schedule a time to come up and visit. We also have many events like what Sandy had talked about with the Taste of History. This museum will not only have the military museum side open, but there will be reenactors who will be telling the story of the German POWs here in Amherst. So that is going to be June 14th and 15th from 9 to 5. And if you contact us at the Amherst Historical Society, we can schedule tours to be able to come out here. And, we're really excited to showcase this museum.
We've worked very closely with the schools and truly appreciate all the cooperation and help that we have received and the excitement from the students to be involved in this. I think it's a great adventure in history, and being able to see something like this that has such great home roots and stories to tell, that families will appreciate the fact that we are honoring their relatives in a way that will go on forever.
Yes. And it's just a very important part of our history, and it continues to this day, the service of people in our community and throughout our nation. So we're just really excited to be able to show it, and we're excited for people to come and learn about neighbors, friends, strangers, and just be able to, have history come to life.
Okay, and we want to thank our amazing donors. The community has really come together in support of this new museum. And we would like to thank the Amherst VFW Post 1662, the Wellington American Legion Spirit of 76 Museum and Post 8, Amherst American Legion Post 118, Community Foundation of Lorain County, and Avon Lake American Legion Post 211. Thank you all for your generous donations that have made this possible.